the morning watching that fucking Meghan Markle special, and it sobered me right up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
something
Maureen.
killed your vibe.
Did you watch all episodes of this?
No.
Oh no. Meghan Markle's absolute worst nightmare? Yeah, it just exploded all over the internet, and guess what? People can't stop laughing. I mean, it's a full-on meltdown. So here's the tea. Meghan is reportedly livid behind the scenes. Why? Because conservative YouTuber and political firecracker Megyn Kelly just lit a match and dropped a parody so savage it might as well have come with a warning label. The parody didn't just poke fun, it roasted, and it featured Megyn teaming up with critic Morin Callahan. Let's just say the burn was real, and it seems like Megyn, she's reached her breaking point.
The wedding cake, and he's like, I tasted your wedding cake, and I was like, that's a weird thing to say. Who says that? And the reason he said that, it soon became clear, was because he went to the tasting with her.
Get this, Megyn is so shaken, so furious, that insiders are now whispering she's threatening to sue Megyn Kelly. Yes, lawsuit, over a parody. But here's where it gets wild. That video, it wasn't built on gossip. It wasn't some made-up scandal. It just held up a mirror, and that reflection, apparently way too real for Megyn to handle. What started off as a sharp bit of satire has now spiraled into a legal circus, one that's honestly revealing a whole lot more about Megyn than her glossy PR team ever would want you to know.
Like, I just threw this on. I don't know how I got to be wearing this entirely cashmere white outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
There was a juxtaposition there, you're right.
And then Mindy says to Megyn, she starts asking her to...
And let's make one thing clear. The parody didn't invent a single thing. It simply exaggerated what millions already see. A tone-deaf, self-obsessed, fame-hungry ex-royal who somehow still can't stop clinging to the very title she supposedly ran from. People aren't sympathizing with Megyn right now. They're cracking up. The internet, it's in love. Megyn Kelly's performance, brutal and completely hilarious. Kelly and Callahan nailed it, portraying Megyn as this delusional influencer floating on privilege, preaching to the world with her overpriced jam jars and yoga poses.
And she is the most insecure person I have seen in the public eye in a long time. That is why everything had to be perfectly curated. It was like, that's the biggest absurdity.
Yup. Jars of jam and downward dogs while ignoring her own hypocrisy and elite lifestyle. I mean, come on. It wasn't just funny. It was a wake-up call, one that a lot of people have been screaming into the void about for years. Megyn, critics say, has built her entire image on victimhood, half-truths, and woe is me storytelling. But now, she's threatening to sue over a comedy skit. Sources in Montecito are whispering that her legal team is already sniffing around defamation laws. They're calling the parody cruel, defamatory, even harmful. But hold up, since when is satire illegal?
Mint. And then cut our flowers that are edible. But don't worry, she's a woman of the people. You can grow those just on your windowsill at home.
Sure.
In New York, your edible flowers.
And don't forget your local beekeeper.
Yeah.
Your local beekeeper.
Oh, yeah, because she has a bee hive, which she goes to. That's how they open the whole series with her bees. And like, don't worry, if you don't have this, just go to your local.
And here's what makes it even messier. Megyn knows satire is protected. So it's not about truth. It's not even about fairness. It's about control. Control over her image. Control over the narrative. Control over who gets to say what about her. But let's be real. That's not power. That's panic. And in Hollywood, that's the kind of move people laugh at behind closed doors, because instead of rising above, Megyn is trying to shut people down. That screams desperation.
Just for kicks. I'm like, what? Local beekeeper. And everything that came up was the people who will kill bees in my
Oh my God.
Like, if you have a beehive and you want to get rid of it, here are like the 20 people who will kill it.
There you go. Absolutely.
Clearly we're living in different worlds.
Do you have a chicken coop?
No chickens. No, just the dead one.
And what happened next? The internet lost its mind, not in Megyn's favor, but Megyn Kelly and Morin Callahan were flooded with support. Even Megyn's usual defenders, weirdly silent. That tells you everything. One analyst tweeted, "You know you've hit a nerve when the Duchess calls her lawyers." Boom, that's the Streisand effect at work. Megyn tried to kill the parody, and instead, she gave it wings.
Your chickens, did you catch that?
Did not catch that.
She literally, Megyn, she has a chicken coop. And she talks, so she brings out, I don't mean to get off Mindy, but she brings out to feed them a thick disc of ice. And inside,
the chickens?
Oh, yeah. And inside that disc are frozen organic vegetables. which she then
Let's rewind for a second. Megyn has spent years branding herself as the voice of media freedom, feminism, and open dialogue, always preaching about safe spaces and women's voices. But now, she's calling her lawyers because someone made fun of her? Where was this outrage when South Park made her and Harry look like clout-chasing cartoon versions of themselves? Or when British tabloids were way nastier? Crickets. Why? Because Megyn's all for freedom of speech, but only when she's the one speaking.
that much more golden.
Oh my gosh.
And nutritious. And then the camera pans to a miniature picnic table. It looks like something that would go in a child's dollhouse on the ground. And she says, "Don't laugh at me. That is my chicknick table where I put food for the chickens." Okay. In this economy.
Right. Well, same thing with her.
What this parody did was pierce right through Megyn's curated armor. It didn't destroy her public image. It shattered her ego. This is a woman who hides behind polished vulnerability and poetic quotes. But when someone dares to laugh at her, she doesn't reflect. She retaliates. Remember Oprah? I was misunderstood. And now, Megyn's unleashing lawyers on two women who cracked a joke. That's not strength. That's fear.
Who's Harry's friend's wife from Polo.
Oh, this
Again,
one.
So relatable. So some woman from Argentina who's married to Harry's polo player friend shows up. Again, not really a Meghan Markle friend. And for her dog, Megyn makes some sort of biscuits, which of course have only the organic material.
Megyn's scrambling to control public perception through threats and legal intimidation, and it's not working. Hollywood, they've gone quiet. No major brands are standing up for her. Publicists are murmuring what we've all suspected for a while. Megyn is turning into a liability. Let's be honest. The signs are all there. Spotify dropped her. Netflix is slowly pulling back. Her Archetypes podcast fizzled. She's fading, and this parody didn't start the fire. It just lit up what was already smoldering. And Megyn's legal tantrum? It's not strength. It's panic. Pure panic.
He's making the bacon because, the dog's just going to love it if it has a little bacon in it. And, she eats bacon all the time, she wants you to know, in her house.
Of course she does. Sure. She looks like it.
Right?
Yeah.
With her size like 00. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But here was the other thing. When you talk about the chicknick, I wrote this down. Just from the episodes I watched. She's got this little...
And instead of laughing it off or rising above it, Megyn lashes out. Threats over jokes? Come on, that just proves Megyn Kelly hit the bullseye. Megyn's response only made it worse. Kelly, meanwhile, not backing down. She defended the sketch on her show, said it's satire, and flat out dared Megyn's camp to bring it on. Legal experts, they're laughing. Any defamation lawsuit would crash and burn, and Megyn would come out with a heap of bad press. Megyn Kelly's fan base, bigger than ever. People see her now as someone who says what everyone else is scared to whisper. That With Love Megyn parody, it struck deep. Not because it was mean, but because it was true. It reflected what critics have been screaming for years. That Megyn plays the victim and the villain at the same time. She cries foul while throwing punches, all wrapped up in pastel-colored activism. And her reaction only proved it. And now, Megyn's out here trying to silence a joke. It's wild. For someone who's always claimed to give a voice to the voiceless, she's doing everything she can to shut down voices that don't worship her. It's a major backfire. Meghan Markle wanted to be a modern icon. Instead, she's fast becoming a symbol of what happens when someone takes themselves too seriously and can't take a joke. And that's the cruel twist, isn't it? That parody, With Love, Megyn, sliced right through Megyn's fairy tale. The whole carefully crafted brand of the brave feminist royal breaking free from the palace cracked. The more Megyn pushes back, the more she confirms what critics have suspected all along, that her public image is an act, that this whole just a girl who married a prince and wants to do good vibe is a rehearsed performance. She doesn't respond with transparency. She sends in the lawyers. And let's be real, legally, she's got no ground to stand on. The experts are laughing behind the scenes. First Amendment attorneys have said it loud and clear. Parody is protected, especially when it targets public figures. That's literally one of the strongest forms of protected speech in the US. One defamation lawyer even told the Daily Mail, this would collapse on day one. So this lawsuit threat, it's not about winning in court, it's about intimidation. Fear tactics. It's Megyn saying, if you dare make fun of me, I'll destroy you. And that is a terrifying message coming from someone who still claims to champion openness and fairness. In a twisted way, Megyn's outrage over With Love Megyn may have sealed her fate in the public eye. She's no longer the relatable underdog. She's no longer the brave rebel. She's now the overly polished celebrity, protected by a wall of legal threats and PR handlers, obsessed with keeping the narrative just the way she likes it. She hasn't grown, she hasn't evolved, she hasn't learned, she's doubled down. And honestly, that's what this parody exposed. Not just her contradictions, but her complete inability to deal with reality, to laugh at herself, to take a hit and move on. What could have been a moment for self-reflection or even a a clever clapback has turned into another Meghan Markle pity party, a public tantrum dressed up in legal jargon. And here's the worst part. People have seen it all before. Meghan's brand used to be about hope, change, authenticity. But now it's lawsuit threats, image control, and how dare you make fun of me. She's played the role of the aggrieved diva so many times, the world's just over it. This whole saga, what started as a few minutes of parody, has turned into something bigger. It's a commentary on what happens when someone tries to build a brand on being untouchable. Meghan once stood as a symbol of resilience. Now she's just a walking PR disaster. Every legal move, every overreaction, every silence from Hollywood just adds more fuel to the fire. And with every new headline, she drifts further away from the woman people rooted for and closer to a cautionary tale. The internet, the press, the industry, they're all watching this unfold like a slow-motion car crash. Meghan Markle, once the face of modern royalty, is now at risk of becoming just another celebrity who flew too close to the spotlight and couldn't take the heat. She wanted to be Diana 2.0, a beloved misunderstood icon, but she's becoming something else. Someone who mistakes fame for reverence, someone who thinks criticism is betrayal, someone who forgot how to be real. And all it took was a parody, a funny, sharp, brutal little parody. With love, Meghan wasn't just a skit, it was a mirror. And Meghan, she absolutely could not stand the reflection.